What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another video. It is game week 16 team selection time. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another video. Just before we dive in, this video I'm joining up with HelloFresh. For anyone who doesn't know, HelloFresh is a food kit delivery service that delivers meals ready to your door with all the ingredients ready to cook with a very simple and easy to follow instruction pictured guide, which is what I need when I cook to make your meals. It's all controlled by their very quick and easy to use app, as you can see here. You simply go through, select your meals. You can have between 3 and 5 meals a week. I personally go for 3. So although I do produce a lot of videos, I do have a slight bit of a social life outside of making these videos. For all the recipes there are, it tells you the ingredients, the calories, but most importantly for me, how long it's going to take. I personally like to pick meals all under 30 minutes and try to be as healthy as possible, although these burgers, and they take slightly longer, they just look too good for me to go and turn down. HelloFresh at the moment are running a massive promotion, 50% off your first box plus 35% off your next 3 boxes and free gifts to be found in some of your boxes as well. There is a link in the description with a promotional code as well with the discount on it that you can get those discounts and go and choose your favorite meals for the upcoming weeks going into the World Cup, where all of us will be watching football and having less time on our hands to be cooking, and hopefully with some friends around as well. Let me know what you think. Link is in the description. It's great for me and I hope it is for you as well. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another video. FPL Harry here, and today it is time to have a look at my game week 16 team selection, captaincy, benchings, any transfers I've already confirmed, or what my plans are going into the final deadline that we have before the World Cup, before the next deadline, which takes place on Boxing Day in the UK. So I'll be talking today about potential changes to my team, players I'm not happy with, but generally players I think you should be picking as your 1 week punts going into game week 16. Before we dive into the video, we're trying to hit 1,000 likes on the final video before the World Cup, but let us begin. So last week, before we look at game week 16, I scored 77 points. It was a massive game week for me. 77 with a -4. My transfers didn't actually pay off because I did end up benching Haaland and bringing in Callum Wilson, and I did sell Phil Foden and bring in Marcus Rashford. So the players I brought in actually were outscored by the players that I sold or benched, because I did end up benching Erling Haaland. However, that didn't really matter when Mo Salah stepped up, scored 15 points with my captaincy, getting a massive 30-point return, as well as Wilfried Zaha on Sunday. Saturday was a pretty dreadful game week. I sat about 55k, 60k after the matches that had taken place on Saturday, and I was thinking, this is another red arrow for me. But Sunday came around, we had the likes of Wilfried Zaha, we had the late clean sheet for Castagno on Saturday night, and of course, Mo Salah. This ended me on a green arrow, moving from 24,000 up to about 9,500, just inside the top 10,000. I'm also 62 points away from being in that 1,000 point club going into the World Cup. If I can score 62 points in game week 16 and have 1,000 points overall, still be inside the top 10k, I would be so happy with how my season has started. But that's how I got on this week. We're really here to focus on next week. So for me, there are really 2 transfers I'm considering making for this week. The first one is in defence, and that is Doherty of Tottenham out. Now, he starts this evening. I'm recording after the kickoff of all the EFL Cup games on Wednesday evening. Doherty does start for Tottenham, which makes me think I'm pretty certain he's not going to start at the weekend. Again, I might wait until close to the deadline before I finally decide, but it does not look good for Doherty. Now, I could start Guehi on my bench, who does have Nottingham Forest away. I do have Gaeta starting in goal, though, who also has that fixture. I'm not sure I'm confident enough on the Crystal Palace defence to be going and doubling up on them at the moment, given recent performances have been pretty mixed in terms of their defence's ability. So there are potential replacements that I could move for Doherty. I could go on and double up on the Manchester City defence, given I already have João Cancelo on my team. Nathan Ake could come in if we think Laporte or Diaz is going to start, but the issue is there's been a lot of rotation in that Manchester City defence over the past few weeks. I don't necessarily know I can correctly predict who is going to line up in that defence, but if Tony is not going to feature, although he probably should be back for this one depending on suspension, I think there is a good chance of a Manchester City clean sheet in this one. I could go elsewhere in Spurs and go to Ivan Perisic, who's played on the wing or as a second forward for Spurs in the past couple of games. Again, the only concern for him, though, is he has started in the EFL Cup game this evening. That does not fill me with a lot of confidence confidence that he's going to start at the weekend in their final game at home to Leeds. However, Tottenham do really need a result. They do need to start picking up some points and finish on a high before they go into the World Cup. And Perisic is definitely part of their strongest team at the moment. So I do think there's a good chance he starts, and he's on all set pieces with Son not featuring at the moment. Or it could be boring and just go to the Arsenal defence. It is boring because it's a highly owned defence, what a lot of people have in their teams. They do have Wolves away. I could go to a lot of different options because I have the money in the bank. I could practically pick any of them. I think Gabriel or Saliba are probably one of the two I could go for. Gabriel very slightly more goal threat, but Saliba probably better for bonus points if I don't expect a goal from either of the centre-backs. He probably has the best chance of a clean sheet out of all of these and the best chance of also predicting that they're going to start, unlike the Manchester City guys. It is very boring, I think, to make a defensive transfer as a one-week punt, but if I don't expect Doherty to start, I don't want to double up on the Crystal Palace defence, and I have Castagna sat on my bench away at West Ham. I basically have no choice. And then the other transfer is up front, and that is selling Callum Wilson. Now, Callum Wilson is not in the squad for Newcastle in their EFL Cup match. I expect him to be fine, but we'll have to wait for press conference news to know whether Callum Wilson is even going to be available for selection for Chelsea at home in game week 16. I also have Dominic Solanke sat first on my bench, so even if Wilson doesn't start, selling him would mean I'd have to bench Dominic Solanke, who's currently the one sat first on my bench. If I was to sell Callum Wilson, I'd likely go to either Roberto Firmino or Gabriel Jesus. I wish I had the money in the bank to go all the way up to Darwin Nunez. If I had the money, it would be a no-brainer, and I'm pretty certain that would be my transfer as a one-week pump, but I'm short, and it's not worth a -4 for me this week, I don't think. I could downgrade Doherty and then free up that little bit of extra cash that I want in order to do Callum Wilson all the way up to Darwin Nunez, but I don't really think it's worth it for me this week. So Roberto Firmino does fit into my budget. Again, focusing on how he does in the EFL Cup and how many minutes he plays as well is really the focus about whether I think he's going to start at the weekend. But playing in that attacking midfield role, that centre forward role behind Darwin Nunez and Salah, although the goal threat might not be as big, I think the assist potential is definitely there. But the one that I really do like is Gabriel Jesus. 8.1 million. They do play Wolves away, a team that are conceding a lot of goals at the moment. It would mean I'm tripling up on the Arsenal attack, given I already have Martinelli and Saka in my game week 16 lineup. It's not exactly what I want to do. I don't love tripping up on attacks. I did it at the start of the season with Arsenal, for anyone who remembers. It went okay. It didn't go brilliantly, and Jesus isn't actually scoring that many goals at the moment, although he is picking up some assists and he is still one of the highest scoring forwards in FPL recently. So for me, it's pretty straightforward. I have two choices. Doherty will either leave my team, and I probably think I'll bring in Ivan Perisic as an exciting one-week punt at home to Leeds, a team that are conceding a lot of goals at the moment. I do still expect Perisic to start. Or I can make that forward transfer and go Callum Wilson to Gabriel Jesus. Now, I do not plan on making both of these. I will wait for press conference news to hear whether Callum Wilson's likely to start. I will have a think about whether I'm comfortable starting Dominic Solanke at home to Everton. At the moment, I don't really want to do that. I am expecting a little bit of bounce back, and I'm not being that convinced by the attacking performances that Bournemouth have been putting up. So these are my two transfers I'm looking at. What will really make up my mind is whether I think Doherty's going to start or whether I think Callum Wilson is going to start at the weekend. If I think neither of them are going to start, then I will start Dominic Solanke, and then I will move on a defensive transfer and move Perisic in for Doherty. If I think Callum Wilson is going to start, then I will do the defensive transfer, and if I think Doherty is going to start, then I will do the forward transfer. That's what basically I'm looking at. Don't think I'm going to touch my midfield. I'm pretty certain I'm not going to touch my goalkeeper. Haaland is also on the bench for Manchester City in the EFL Cup. I'm pretty certain he'll be absolutely fine and he will start. Alvarez having 4 matches in a row now. I think that's enough. I think Haaland will start in game week 16, especially given he has a full 6 weeks off because he's not going to the World Cup to recover. So I do think he will start in this one. It does mean that Mo Salah is likely to be my vice captain. He did very well for me in game week 15, but I do think it will be Haaland as my captain. My bench at the moment is Dominic Solanke first. Then we have Guehi with Nottingham Forest away, with Castagna last on my bench, West Ham away, with Danny Ward as well, with West Ham away on my bench. We're starting Trippier, we're starting Cancelo again, who is not suspended. Full 5-man midfield with the double Arsenal, Wilfried Zaha. Hopefully he plays centrally again for Crystal Palace. Marcus Rashford and Mo Salah in there again, with hopefully a new transfer in, exciting up front, because I don't fancy playing Callum Wilson against Chelsea, the team that I do support. So this is my plan for this weekend. If I had to predict, I think it will be a defensive transfer because I'm pretty certain Doherty is not going to start in game week 16. Let me know what you would do with my team. Would you take a -4 to do both? Would you do defensive? Would you do forwards? Any questions about your team, drop them in the comment section down below. There will be a 2 hours plus deadline stream going into game week 16. So make sure you're subscribed and turn on notifications for a reminder of that, and hopefully some early Manchester City team news to come. But early transfers may have to take place because we don't want the website to crash on us again. Thank you so much for watching. Aiming for 1,000 likes on the video. Good luck in game week 16. If I do not see you before then, we'll be back again very soon with World Cup content and FPL content. Don't worry, we're not going anywhere.